Hi everyone, Scott from Tilly the Lad here. Today I wanted to provide an overview for as well as discuss my general thoughts and concerns regarding Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Let's start with basic information. This game is a remaster of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on the 3DS. In other territories such as Europe, it was always known as Luigi's Mansion 2. It was initially released here in North America on March 24th, 2013. The HD version is coming Switch side and is set to release in just a few days, as of this writing, on June 27th. Luigi's Mansion has, over time, seemingly become one of Nintendo's foundational franchises. It's not part of the same tier as Pokémon, Mario, or Zelda, but I think it comfortably slots in right under that tier. The series sells well, and it can be expected to release on each generation of hardware. Things were not always this way, though. The first game was a launch title for the GameCube in 2001, and fans now infamously disliked it upon introduction. Up to that point, Nintendo hardware usually, though not always, launched alongside a generation-defining Mario platformer. There was Super Mario World on the SNES and Mario 64 on the N64. The original Luigi's Mansion is very much not a Mario platformer. It is slow, arcadey, and much more puzzle-focused by comparison. There's also no jumping because the poltergust, Luigi's vacuum that he uses to combat ghosts, is apparently too heavy. You can perhaps begin to see where these fans are coming from. They had grown to expect another mainline Mario game to buy alongside their shiny new home console, but instead they received a wildly different title starring his brother. It boiled down to missing expectations. Regardless, Luigi's first romp through a haunted setting developed something of a cult following as the years progressed. About 12 years later, Nintendo released a sequel, the aforementioned Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, also known as Luigi's Mansion 2, on their handheld console, the 3DS. It performed very well on that platform. It is the 12th best-selling title on the 3DS, with roughly 6.48 million copies sold. Its follow-up, Luigi's Mansion 3, carried that success forward. It came out on Halloween in 2019 for the Switch, and is currently the 15th best-selling game on that system, with roughly 14.25 million copies sold. Of the three installments in the Luigi's Mansion series, Dark Moon could be seen as the awkward middle child and/or the black sheep. This is because it differs in some fundamental ways when compared to its counterparts. First, it lacks portrait or boss ghosts. These play out quite differently than your encounter with run-of-the-mill enemies. They require much more thought and precision from the player, and they therefore give the first and third games some much-needed variety in combat. Dark Moon does have boss-like encounters, but they don't quite scratch the same itch as the portrait ghosts. Luigi's Mansions 1 and 3 take place in a single setting, the former in a mansion, the latter in a hotel. Dark Moon divides its journey among multiple, smaller mansions. Last, and perhaps most important, the game follows a mission-based structure whereby you are pulled back to Professor Gadd's location, basically the hub area, every time you finish a mission. I played the original game as a young boy, I really enjoyed it, and I therefore have immense nostalgia for it. I picked up the third title in its launch year, and it remains one of my favorite games on Switch. Sadly, all the differences I just discussed turned me off to the very idea of Luigi's Mansion 2. It didn't help that many of the YouTubers I watch reinforced my concern. My interpretation of their videos and arguments made it seem like the game fell quite below the quality bar set by its older and younger siblings. However, I eventually did take the plunge and picked up the game for my 3DS around March 2023. I played it through to completion, investing a little over 14 hours in the adventure. I liked it a lot more than I thought it would. It oozes Nintendo charm, and it nails Luigi as a character. It focuses a lot more on solving environmental puzzles as opposed to fighting ghosts, and the puzzles are very well designed and fun to solve. The mission-based structure sounded terrible to me on paper, but in practice it really wasn't that bad. It also suits a handheld pretty well in the sense that it's good for picking it up, playing through a mission or two, and then putting it back down. Though I am a little concerned about how well it might translate to docked mode on the Switch. Furthermore, the focus on missions may bug some more than others. I happen to find myself in the latter category. At the end of the day, Luigi's Mansion 2 is probably my least favorite of the three, but please don't take that the wrong way. I still think it's a really good game, and I absolutely recommend it to any Switch owners out there who played and enjoyed the third entry but never got around to this one. By far my biggest complaint and concern with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is the $60 US asking price. Let's be clear, this is for a 3DS game that is merely being remastered, not remade. Nintendo games rarely go down in price, some never do. Though I do believe this game will be the subject of some rare to occasional discounts. It makes me miss the days of Nintendo Selects where the company would repackage some of their more well-received and best-selling titles and offer them for a significantly cheaper price, sometimes as much as 50% off. Nintendo's pricing decisions this whole console generation have also been pretty bizarre. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was one of the earliest offenders. This game initially launched on the Wii U for $40, but Nintendo decided to charge $60 for it when it was ported to Switch. Infamously, the only thing it really added was Funky Mode, where you could swing through the campaign as Funky Kong. Metroid Prime Remastered, meanwhile, released for a more budget-friendly $40 in early 2023. It technically is a remaster, yes, but it was so well done, it is visually stunning, and I think it's one of the best looking games on Switch. From an outsider's perspective, it seems like a lot more care and effort was put there than for the remaster for Luigi's Mansion 2. Of course, to be fair, I don't know if that's true, it's merely my speculation. But it does make me seriously question Luigi's Mansion 2 HD's $60 price tag. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth because it makes me feel like Nintendo is being needlessly greedy and taking advantage of their first place position and their fans, who they know will cough up the funds for it. They have much smarter people than me making their business decisions, and clearly they believe the full price point is a viable economic position to take for the business. But that doesn't mean I have to like or agree with it. Thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, take care.